All right. So now we are going to talk about like how do you sort certain numbers? Because in list, you come across these operations very frequently, like sorting, reversing, and things of that an operation of these natures. So list they do provide you these inbuilt methods. So let's talk. Let me just show you three examples. So let's say you have numbers. Okay, numbers equal to. Let's start with simple. Let's see, numbers is equal to -6. Okay, -6, 10, 20, all right, 30, and then 25. Okay, so let's change the order, 40, and then 70. All right. So you want to sort these numbers, and this operation happens very frequently. So the way you do this thing is you actually call numbers, all right, numbers dot sort. That's it. That's all you have to do. Numbers dot sort, and that's gonna sort the numbers. This will actually sort the numbers in place. What basically it means is that your numbers list will contain now assorted numbers. Okay, excuse me, please. Excuse me. All right, just shut this thing off. Okay, so this will sort the numbers. So let me just show you, and let's just verify it. The numbers are sorted. Numbers after sort. Okay, and then let's print those numbers out now. Numbers. All right. Let me increase the screen size so you guys can see. Okay, I hope you guys can see now. All right, so let's sort these numbers now. So run this cell, and there you go. You see, -6, 10, 20, 25, 30, 40, 70. They have sorted. But here's the thing. This is important that you be aware of this thing, that it actually sorts in place. So this is called sorting in place. So this is called in place operation, meaning it will take that list and it will sort the numbers inside the list itself. It's not going to create another list. It's going to sort inside the list. So this is called in place operation. So you'll come across these terms a lot. So this is in place operation. So if you ever see Python literature or any other books, you will come across these types of terms like in-place methods or in-place operations. Okay, then of course you can also reverse a number. So let's say same thing. Let's start with the let's say your numbers is same. All right. Let me just go over here, copy and paste this at the bottom, and change this to reverse. Okay. So all you have to do is just type reverse, and you're good to go. Numbers after reverse, okay, and run this cell again, and there you go, 70, 40, 25, 30, 20, 10, -6. Now remember, in this particular case, all it did was reverse the numbers, okay? It did not reverse it in a decreasing way. All it did was reverse this list. So this was your original list right here, 70, 40, 25. You see 70, 40, 25, 30, 20, 10, -6, 30, 10, 30, 20, 10, -6. Okay, what if you want to sort it and then reverse it? You can also do that. So let's just do this cell. Okay, let me just show you real quick. Copy this, bring it down. So let's just sort the numbers first. All right, it's sorted. And then you can also reverse this after this. Okay, reverse it and reverse. All right, and then print the number after reverse. And now you will see both ascending and descending order. So there you go. So this particular method, this particular print statement prints -6, 10, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50, 70 in an ascending manner, meaning going from low number to high number. And then you take the same list right there, which is basically going from low to high, you just reverse this. So as soon as you as soon as you reverse this list, this is going to be opposite. The reverse of this would be 70, 40, 30, 25, 10, and so on and so forth. So that's what happened over here. Okay, moving on to the next topic, list concatenations. So talk about a little bit list concatenations. List con, that's a mouthful, concatenations. Okay, so list concatenation, what happens is sometimes you have a list and you may have to actually add or add, yeah, add or append some more elements in the list. So I'm sorry, not append, that's the wrong word I use. Meaning you wanna make the list a little bigger by adding another list to it. Okay, so you may have like two lists. So let's say your first list is let's say numbers. Let's pick up the same one. Numbers equals 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. All right, and let's print this list out just to see that that's what it is. All right, you print this list. All right, so far so good. No surprises here. Now let's have another list. Let's say we have another list with more numbers, okay? More numbers. And let's say those numbers are 77, comma 88, comma 0. All right. And we want these elements from this list to be concatenated to this list. How do you do that? Well, it's simple. You just say new numbers, okay? New numbers equal to, you take your old ones, which is your numbers, and you use plus. In this case, your plus would is basically, this is called an overloading an operator. So I did not really explain you what overloading means, but just to give you a little quick rundown, overloading means that same operator can actually, if you take two integers and you supply integers to that operator, it's going to add the numbers. If you take the same operator, let's say plus operator, and then you apply that to the list, it's going to do some other operation. So depending on which which data types are you applying that operation to, is going to perform that particular operation. So in this particular case, I'm actually applying a plus operation to two lists. The first list is your numbers right here, which is this list, and the second operation I'm also applying to numbers. So in this case, it's going to be more numbers. Okay, and what it's going to do is going to concatenate these two lists. So let's print this list now. New numbers, and there you go. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 right here. This one is your first list, which is this one. And then 77, 88, 0 is this one. So what it did, basically, it took those two lists and it combined them together. So this is called concatenation. Okay, then there's something called list repetition. It may happen that sometimes you may actually have to create a list of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and like maybe many of these, repeating multiple times, these numbers getting repeated multiple times. So you can do that too. And how do you do that? Well, if you guessed that you just multiply by a number, you will be right. Okay. So let's see. In this case, I say more numbers equals, you say numbers, okay, times 3. So in this case, the plus operator, it was looking at this number. Okay, this is a list and this is a list. So as soon as he finds this list and as soon as it discovers that these two elements, these two types are data types, it's gonna concatenate those data types, meaning it's gonna concatenate those two lists. In this case, the multiplication operator is seeing that this is an integer. On the other hand, this is a list. So what it's going to do is going to take that list and it's going to concatenate to itself 3 different times. Okay. So if you print this, more numbers, oops, more numbers, you are going to see 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 repeated 3 different times. And there you go. So see, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, this would be one. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, this would be second, and 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So one of the application of this is that sometimes you may actually, when you're testing something or you're creating you're populating your list, and you have to populate like this, like, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 10, 20. You don't have to actually manually just sit over there and type each one of these numbers out like this. You can just do with the nice little trick that they have. Okay, so by the way, these tricks are there because the creators of Python, they seen that these types of operations are used very often by programmers. So as certain operations are used very often, they create these helpful inbuilt functions, these helpful methods. Okay, so that's what that is. Okay, so let's create a list of 10 consecutive numbers. All right. Okay, so how do you do that? Well, you say L equal to list. Okay, Now, how do you create a list of 10 consecutive number integers? Sorry. So remember the range function? We're going to do range. Okay. Range from where? From 1, comma, up to 11. Okay. So this creates a list of 10 consecutive numbers. Let's verify. Okay. Print your L and you run, and there you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The reason I'm showing you this thing is because this is used very often in loops. So loops is basically you're repeating the same operation over and over again. So I'll give you some examples of loop later on. Okay, what if you want to create uh, like uh, like uh, like a list, but this time you don't want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to skip some numbers. Let's say you want to have 1, 4, 7. So basically you're skipping three values. So basically I want 1, and then I skip 2 and 3, then I want 4, then I skip 5 and 6, then I want 7, then I skip 8 and 9, then I want 10. So in other words, I'm skipping at least like three values, okay? So how do you do that? Well, that's simple. Oops, let me just do copy and paste. Okay, so all I'm going to do is list range, comma, I'm going to specify my size, like how many times I want it to be skipped. And this is called 3. So in this case, I want my list, I want my range from 1 to 11, but skip every 3 elements, okay? So let's do that and see 1. So see 1, 1, 2, and 3. You see that? So you print 1, and then you go, let me just show you with my pen. Let me just go over here. All right. So you come over here. Oops, let me just fix this thing. All right. Excuse me. Okay. So if you can see, you have a tool is, let me just select that tool. Oops. Okay. All right. So you go 1, 2, and 3. That's what this 3 is for. All right. 1, 2, oops, sorry. 1, 2, and 3. That's why it printed 7, 4, and then 1, 2, and 3. So it's going to print 10. See, 1, 4, 7, 10. All right. So this is the way you can actually print different numbers, and you can skip over some numbers. Okay. So this is a nice little trick, and the Python creator have actually designed these little functionalities to make our life a little easy. And this is something that's used very often, by the way. Okay. Moving on to the next topic. Okay. So a lot of times we have to actually print minimum of a number, maximum, sum, length, and sometimes we have to do these operations. So these provided to us by again by the creators of Python. Thanks to them. So let me just show you some operations like minimum. You may have to do some minimum operation. You may have to find some maximum of a list. You may have to find the sum of the list, okay, and so on and so forth. So let's do that. So let's say your list is, let's start with the same list. What is that? There you go. Let me just copy and paste this. Control C. All right. So let's say I want to find the minimum of this list. All right. And let me just add something over here. Let me just add uh, 32. All right. Oh no, actually make it 19. 19. Okay. Comma. And okay. So I want to find minimum of this list. Well, if you guessed there is a min function, you would be right. You just type min, okay, and inside min you specify your sequence. Okay, so this is called a sequence. This little numbers, which is a list, is called a sequence. So if you remember, sequence was your tuple, your list. These were considered to be a sequence. Another example of sequence was your string. Okay, so let's run this. Let's see what it does. And 10, you see, the minimum over here is 10. All right, so far so good. What if you want to print? What if you want to find your maximum? You can also do that. Max is a function called max, and run this 50. Great. What if you want to find the sum of this thing? You want to add all these numbers together. Well, there is a method for that too. It's called sum. You just type sum, numbers, and you're good to go. All right, sum. What if you want to find how many elements are there in this case? In this case, you can test like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 elements, right? But is there a way to actually find the length of your list? Well, if you're thinking there is something called len, L-E-N, wow, impressed. So there is a function called len. So these min, max, sum, these are called inbuilt functions. They are provided to you by the creators of Python. Again, thanks to them, and makes your life a little easy. You see, it printed 6 over there because there are 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 elements. Okay, so one more thing. So there is another function called sorted. Okay, print sorted. All right. Now what this is going to do is it's going to sort the numbers. Right. Run this, and there you go. 10, 19, 20, 30, 40, 50. You see, it sorted the numbers. If you look over here, these numbers were not sorted. 10, 20, 10, 20, 30, and then there was a 19 over here. So 19 should be before 20, and it sorted that number. So this now this particular method, sorted, it's only going to work if these numbers can be compared with each other. If these elements, these entries, they can be compared with each other. So let me just go a little bit in depth over here. Let me just copy and paste it over here. So this way you have an idea what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about this sorted operation. Let's say you put another thing away. You put a string now. Okay. If you put a string, and string is, let's say, a Jerry, and now you run your sorted operation. Okay, it's going to give you an error. And look at this error. The message in itself is very helpful. It's telling you what's happening. That this operation, okay, less than operation is not supported between instances of str and integer. So this is your str and these are your integer. So this operation is not supported. That's why it's throwing an error. In other words, when you are trying to sort these numbers using sorted inbuilt function, make sure that all these elements, they are of the same type. Okay. If you put something else, okay, let's put let's say can we put let's say let's put true. Okay, let's see what it does. Right, let's see if it works, and it does. Now can you guess why? And the reason is because true is a special boolean variable, and it is treated as 1. Okay, true is treated as 1 and false is treated as 0. So let's see, let's verify that. Okay, false, and what does it do? And there you go. False is treated as 0. Okay, that's why it's before true. True is treated as a 1. And so that's why it printed like this. Okay. What if you want to put a list? Okay. 1, 2, and 3. So this list numbers has elements 10, 20, 30, and then this element is a list. Okay. And then 19, 40, 50. So let's see, does it sort that? Let's find out. And there you go. See, not supported between instances of list and int. So what's happening is that 10, 20, 30, these are your integers, right? This is your integer, but this element over here, this entry over here, is not an integer, it's a list. And so it cannot compare a list against an integer, that's why it's not working. Okay, so let's see one of the applications of this thing. Let's say you want to find out the average of a number. Well, you can also find out the average. If you go back over here, let me just copy and paste this minimum length sum. Okay, copy. If you remember from your high school, how do you find the average of a number? Okay, the average of a number is you basically take the numbers, all right? So let's say average, AVG equal to, you add all the numbers. So basically you will get sum, okay, some numbers. And then what do? You divide by the length, the total number of numbers over there. So you divide by length, in this case, numbers. So if you remember from high school, the average of this number is going to be 10 plus 20 plus 30 plus 19 plus 40 plus 50. You add these numbers together and then you divide by the total number of numbers you have or total length of the list. And this is your average. So this way you can find your average. All right. F, type average, and then put AVG, substitute the value of the variable in here, substitute the variable over here, and your F will actually put the variable in here. Run this, and there you go. Average is 28.1666. What if you just want only two strings? So there is a nice little trick. You can say point to F. So what point to F basically saying is that print, okay, just two numbers after the decimal. That's what this little fancy this little notation means. Okay, so just thought you should know. Uh, in case if let me just write this thing down over here. So this way, in case if you have to do something, all right? Okay, so let's do that. Save it, run it. 28.1666, 28.17. All right. So this I think you have a good idea, good understanding of what exactly it does. Now let's go to nested list. So what's a nested list? Let me just write nested list. Sometime you will come across a list inside a list, and you will come across this situation when you're creating when you are working with matrices. So let me give you an example of a matrix. If you remember, let's just let me just open up this note, one note, so you guys can actually let me just do it over here. So let's say you have okay. So let's say you have let me just decrease the size of this. Okay. So let's say you have a matrix, okay, a number 1, 2, 3, and 5. Okay. So if you remember from your high school, oops, let me use the matrix bracket. This is your matrix bracket now. Now we are talking about math, by the way. So in this particular instance, this is a matrix, and the number of rows is 1, and there are 4 columns. So the size of this, the dimension of this would be rows would be 1 by 4. So this is the dimension of your matrix. Okay. What if you have a matrix? You want to create a matrix with well, let's say 3 rows and 3 columns, right? So how are you going to do that? So let's say your 3 rows are 1, 2, 3. Okay. So then 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9. All right, 7, 8, 9. So this is your row. This is your row 1. Okay. This is your row 2, and this is your row 3. All right. So this particular matrix, this whole matrix right here, this is your matrix. Okay, from your, if you remember from your school days, this is your matrix. This row, the size of this matrix is 3 by 3 because there are 3 rows and there are 3 columns. How can you emulate this type of matrix in Python using list? And the answer lies in using nested list. Okay, using nested list, you can actually accomplish this. So let me show you how this is done now. So let's create another cell. So see, what I'm going to do, I'm going to say matrix. Let's create a matrix. Okay, matrix equal to, right? And then this is how you specify. I'm creating a list inside of a list. So my first outer list would be my this right here. This would be my inner list. Over here, I'm going to say 1, oops, comma 2, comma 3. All right. Then comma. So this is my first inner list. Second inner list. Oops, let me just scroll this thing up a little bit so you guys can see. Okay. So this is going to become 3. Sorry, 4. Oops. 4, 5, 6. All right. And then you have 7, 8, 9. All right. So you have, in this case, this particular matrix right here. Okay. Now I'm simulating this matrix in Python using my list, the list data type. Okay. So this is how I can actually create a list. So let's print this matrix out now. Print matrix. All right. If you print matrix, and there you go, 1, 2, 3. Oh, let me just remove this kind of in the way. All right. So So this, when you print this thing, if you look over here, this matrix, which is nothing but basically it's a list. This list consists, the first element of the list is a list, the second element is also a list, and the third element is also a list. So this matrix, which is your list, has three elements inside, and those three elements are list. This is your first element, second element, and third element. So let's try to access each one of the elements. Okay, let's try to access the first one, this 1, 2, 3. So if you remember, how do you access an element? Well, you use indexing. Print matrix. So let's say you want to access the first element. Okay, so first element is this. So how do you access the first element? Remember, the index starts with 0. So print matrix 0, and that gives you 1, 2, 3. All right, so far so good. Now, what type of element that is? So let's take a look at that. Print type, and okay. And if you think it's a list, you would not be wrong. You're right, it is a list. All right. So this way you can access the first row. Okay. So this gives first row. All right. What if you want to access the second row? Okay. You want to access the second row. Well, what are you going to do? You're just going to put 1 over here, right? Because your index starts with 0, 1. Starts with 0, then the next index is 1, and so on and so forth. So this gives your second row. And there you go, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, which is right here, 4, 5, 6. Okay, what if you want to access? Okay, what if you want to access the second row and the third element? So if you look over here, right there, your second row is this one, okay, and the third element would be first element, second element, and third element. So this is your third element, right? This one. This is your third element. Okay, you want to access this element. Okay, so how would you do that? Uh, I'll let you think for a minute. Okay, print. While I do the print, so let's see if you guys can figure it out before I type the answer over there. Print 1. So basically, I'm accessing the the second row by typing matrix 1. Remember, right here, this prints the second row. Then from the second row, I want 0, 1, 2, the third element, so which will be 2. All right, and run this code, and you will get 6. You go. This is how you get 6. Again, matrix 1, this one over here gives you the second row, which is 4, 5, 6. All right, and then let me just be a little descriptive. Actually, let me just write this thing down a little bit more. Let me just print these each statement so this way you can see. So if I run this thing, I run this code, so matrix 1 prints 4, 5, 6. Now inside this matrix 1, okay, which is my 4, 5, 6, I want this element, 6. Now remember, the index starts with 0, 1, 2. So this is my 2. I'm going to put 2 over here inside my bracket. Okay, so this is how you access your elements. If by the way, so this is basically a 3 by 3 an array, basically 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay, so let's look at some of the let's see what we can do with these matrices. Let's say we want to print these matrices. Okay, we don't want to print in this way. Okay, we don't want to print like this. What I want is I want to print my matrix like this. Okay, wanna like I write like this. Uh, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, and 9. So this is how I want my matrix. Okay, but if you look over here, if I just hit the print matrix, you see, I do the print matrix and it just printed like this. I don't like this thing. Okay, I just want to have my own custom way to actually print a matrix. So let's do that. So we're going to do this thing using for loop. Okay, for r or row, let's call it row in matrix. So what I'm doing basically, I'm iterating through a row. Okay, print row. So let's print the row first. Okay, let's see what it does. So I'm just showing you how I actually accomplish these little tasks. And see, it prints 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So far, so good. So I'm able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but I'm getting these little brackets over here. I don't like these brackets. Okay. So I want to get rid of these brackets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, let's see. Now over here, I'm going to iterate. So I have to iterate through this row, I have to iterate through this row, and I have to iterate through this row, and I have to write those numbers down. So I'm going to say for uh, column. Okay, I'm in column now. In, okay, also actually instead of saying column, let's call it element. For element, because these are elements. Okay, for element in row. Okay, now remember, this row is a list. Okay, this thing is a list right now. For element in row, all right, print element. So now all it's going to do is going to print this element. Let's see what it does. An element is not defined. I made a mistake somewhere. Oh yeah, right there. Okay, run this, and there you go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so far so good. It printed the row 1, and then it printed the elements like this. Printed row 2, printed the element like this. Printed row 3, and printed these elements like that. But I don't want, and see what's happening over here. If you recall, this is a new line. Okay, it's printing everything in a new line. So I can actually override that behavior, the new line behavior. I can say end equal to, and I can say forwards empty space as a well. Okay, so our default behavior is this. I do not want this behavior. So let's run this. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So far, so good. Oh, you see what just happened over here? I was supposed to put space. All right, and then let's run this. All right, so 1, 2, 3 comes over here. 1, 2, 3, but this 4, 5, 6 is over there. I do not want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put print statement over here. Okay, just a print statement. What this print statement is going to do is going to move this 4, 5, 6 to the next line. Let's do that. And there you go. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now this thing, 1, 2, 3, that's getting printed. You see this 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9. That's getting printed because of this this little guy that I wrote over there. So let's remove this line. Let's run this again, and there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So just want to give you a little rundown. So when I was doing this thing the first time when I saw this logic, it went right over my head. I didn't really understand what was happening. But you have to work on this thing. Take a piece of paper and pencil and try to figure out how to actually print this little thing like that. This will give you an idea, or this will give you a good understanding of how this list and how do you access the elements of a list. And guys, if you're not able to understand right now, it's okay. Just take a break, come back and do it again. And but some of you are able to understand right away. That's great. I'm pretty sure you guys come from a programming background, but some of you who do not come from programming background, this can be a little bit tricky to actually grasp. So just giving you a heads up. What I would suggest is when I actually my background was not computer science initially. My background was something else. I jumped into computer science. So later, when I came across these concepts, I can understand some of you who have not seen this concept. It must be like throwing you off, but just trust me. Go to your just take a little break, just think about it, how this is working, work on some problem, and take a piece of paper and pencil and try to figure out how this row and this for loop, how is it iterating through each row and what it's doing, and then you'll get a hang of it. So this is the only way you can learn. Okay, so let's do some practice. Let's modify some elements. Okay, let's say you want to modify some element. So let's go back over here, same one. Let me just copy and print. Okay, let's employ copy and print over here. So let's say you want to modify your element. Let's say which one I want to change. Okay, let's say you want to change this this one too. Okay, I don't want this two over there. I want 99 over there. So what I'm going to do? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say matrix. Okay, first I'm going to pick up, now where exactly, what row is this in? Okay, what is the index of this row? The index of this row is 0. So I'm going to say matrix 0. All right, oh, sorry. So let me type 0 and let me print this thing out just to make sure that I'm over there. 1, 2, 3. All right, so far so good. And then I want to this element 2. Okay, how do I access this 2? This is going to be 0, 1. So say 1. All right, and there you go 2. So now I'm able to access this element. Okay, but I want to modify this element. Well, how do you modify this? Remember, list is mutable. In other words, you are allowed, or the creators of Python, they have allowed you to actually change the elements, the content of a list. Okay, it allows you to do that. Unlike string, you cannot do that. You cannot change the content inside a string. Okay, string is immutable. Okay, so in this case, let's say I want to change to 99, right? Now let's print matrix again and let's look at it. Did it change? Let's see. Oops, made a mistake over here. Let me go back. All right, let's run this, and there you go. 199, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You see it changed 99 to, I mean, from 2, it changed into 99. Okay, and this is how that changed. So basically, lists modifying, this is basically modifying elements of list. All right, so this completes this. Next thing is we're going to do is list comprehension. All right, list comprehension. So there are different types of list comprehension. So there is a basic list, and so I'm going to go through like different types of these this list comprehension. They tend to be very helpful notations.